Both of these reels use the exact same hook, but one did 3.5 million views and the other one died at 244. And I'm sure this has happened to you before. You do everything right, you follow the exact same formula as everybody else, and your reel still dies. But after analyzing 500 viral reels from creators that actually grew this year, I found one way that changes everything about how you should create content in 2026. Because here's the thing, having a good hook doesn't guarantee you anything, as you can see. The first 2-3 seconds actually only buy you time. What really makes a reel blow up is what comes after, and almost nobody's talking about this. So to show you what I mean, let me explain this using my favorite thing ever, gummy bears.
So most reels start out like this. This is the hook, this is the reel, and that's about it, right? There's a hook, it looks good, awesome. So I'm like, okay, I wanna eat that right now, and I'm satisfied. But just for 1 second, because the minute I'm done, I'm like, I want another one. But there's no other. So I'm gonna leave and look for something that has more gummy bears in it. Now here's what viral reels actually do. They give you the same thing like before, but just more of it. A sequence, right? Not chaos, not a sugar overdose, but just the right amount at the right time. So I can just take it and be satisfied again and again.
And this exact rhythm is the only thing that separates reels that blow up from reels that actually die, according to my data. And to make this really easy for you to understand, let me show you first of all a real example from actually one of my own videos, a reel that recently did around 200,000 views. And obviously there's a reason why. Here, let me just first of all play this for you and then I'll explain to you what's going on. Forget hashtags. If you want real growth, you need Instagram SEO. So here's a quick 3-step strategy to get your views from this to this. First, you're gonna wanna flip the Google toggle. All right, so as you can see, it's kind of packed with certain things. The hook, obviously the hook, hashtags, we have a slight zoom in and the hashtags being crossed out. That's the hook, right? Everybody instantly knows what's up. Now, the important thing, like I said, happens actually right after, because right after the hook is established, which in this case happens in less than 1 second, right? If we look at it. Forget hashtags. Forget hashtags. So instantly people are aware of what's gonna happen. And right afterwards, we basically see 3 tiny moment changes. First of all, this micro animation that's popping up. Second of all, a visual shift. Basically the same thing, just done visually. It's basically to reset people's brains. And then a slight zoom in just to keep them occupied enough. Then we switch back to the A-roll, another slight animation, and then another visual shift. Right? Now, these are random editing tricks and just throw it in there just because I can. They are all very much intentional, basically small beats that keep the viewer moving forward without overloading them, right? So if we look at it again in a second, you're gonna notice how each moment kind of hands off to the next, right? It doesn't feel too chaotic and it also doesn't feel too slow, right? The brain is occupied, but it's not overloaded, right? And by the time we're there, which is at around 6 to 7 seconds, it doesn't even feel like 6 to 7 seconds because the rhythm stays consistent and it just flows naturally together. Point being, the hook never stops if you think about it. So let's play it again. Forget hashtags. If you want real growth, you need Instagram SEO. Boom. So here's a quick 3-step strategy to get you from this, another, right? 7 seconds in, and it's just flowing. Now, these principles are applicable to any niche, and that's basically what we do with our clients to make them blow up. But remember the reel from earlier, the one that kind of died, despite having the same hook and the same structure as the one that actually blew up. Let's actually take a closer look at it, and I'll show you exactly where the sequence collapses, and then we're actually gonna fix this using the exact same principles so you can replicate that for yourself.
Are you still typing like it's 2004? Because if you are, you're wasting time. The average typing speed is 38 to 40.
Yeah, so again, if we look at it, here's the hook, pretty good actually. Are you still typing like it's 2004? Because if you are, you're wasting time. Pretty solid, good idea. And exactly right afterwards, nothing changes.
The average typing speed is...
And basically for the whole video, nothing changes. She's just talking, right? The viewer basically expects the next gummy bear after the hook, because the hook is actually a gummy bear, because it's pretty good, like I said, but it never comes. And the retention graph actually proves it. If you look right here, right after the hook, there's a tiny moment where people are like, okay, this is interesting. You got my curiosity, basically. And then it drops again and again and again and again. And that's exactly what we're gonna fix right now, because honestly, this reel has the potential to go really, really big. By the way, if you're wondering how does he have this retention graph of this reel, well, this example actually comes from one of you who sent it in to me as part of my free Creator Club newsletter. So if you want to be included in some of my videos, sign up the Creator Club. You're going to get notified when the next video, when I need some data from you. All right, so this whole thing took me 4 minutes, 43 seconds, and here's what I came up with. Let me just play this to you first, and then I'll explain exactly what I did so you can replicate it.
Are you still typing like it's 2004? Because if you are, you're wasting time. The average typing speed is 38 to 40 words per minute, while the average speaking speed is between 150 and 180 words per minute.
Okay, I hope you see this instantly that there's some things going on. We have the hook, like I said, pretty good. But right after, at around 1 second, a little before the 1 second mark, we need a pattern interrupt because it just screams like pattern interrupt. And in this case, I just took some random stock footage that I found off the internet. Not saying you should do that. Ideally, you create your own one where you sit and type, obviously. A second later, we have a reference to 2004. I guess her target audience are people that lived in 2004 that know what this means. So I kind of wanted to install this feeling, if you will, of this nostalgic era. Then we have a slight zoom in.
You're wasting time. Yeah.
Just because there's some random, by the way, in the real video, some random sound effects that don't really lead anywhere. Let's not even get into that. Another typing B-roll.
Typing speed is 38 to 40.
And then basically visually showing what she's talking about. Slow words per minute, faster words that we speak. That's about it. And I'm sure if she fixes that, her retention graph is gonna look more like this. And that's all you need, basically. And if we're gonna look at the other example, the one that actually used the same hook from a different niche, the one that had 3.5 million views, we can see the exact same thing happen again, right? Good hook and a bunch of secondary hooks layered throughout.
Are you still filling your piping bags like this?
Secondary hook,
Well, I work in the
secondary,
distribution, and
secondary,
let me show you how to do it
secondary,
like a pro.
secondary,
First, grab
right? So we have 4 or 5 secondary hooks within the first 7 seconds again. Point being, from now on, whenever you create a video, don't just think of the hook as one moment. It's basically a sequence that doesn't end until your whole video does. And here's exactly where a lot of creators fall into another really common trap, because they hear secondary hooks and immediately they start to overdo it, right? A million cuts, zooms, effects, text spam, and basically just a bunch of other things layered on top. But that's not pacing, that's not really using secondary hooks, that's actually noise. So remember, when you think of secondary hooks, more isn't always better, the right pacing is. Here's actually a simple structure I want you to follow from now on to get your next viral video going using exactly these things. First of all, create your primary hook, right? Don't overthink it. It doesn't need to be perfect, because remember, the hook is actually the whole video long. It just needs to be strong enough to buy those first 2 to 3 seconds. Second of all, layer in your secondary hooks, right? These are the tiny beats basically that keep the momentum flowing. Literally anything goes, right? Whether it's just slight zoom ins, cuts, a gesture, or basically anything that we just talked about, as long as something meaningful, that's an important thing, happens every second. And third of all, build what I call your pacing identity. Basically your rhythm. This is what actually makes the video feel effortless to watch, like the first example at the beginning. If you're too slow, people are gonna leave, as we saw right before. If it's too much and it feels like noise, the brain is overloaded, right? And people leave again. So the sweet spot is a consistent rhythm so the viewers can actually intuitively follow. And there's actually a pretty simple way to test your pacing, which is to hand your phone to somebody, you know, and watch someone else watch your video, right? Give it to someone. And if you notice their eyes start drifting, or you're just gonna feel it, you know there's something off, right? And obviously we do have retention graphs, like I said, where we can actually see this happen in real time, right? And you can always go back and redo the next one to, you know, basically according to your stats. Now, there's one last thing about this creators don't realize. All of what we just talked about only works if Instagram can actually recognize what you're doing in the first place, right? In those first few seconds. And Instagram actually makes that decision way earlier than people think. So watch this video next if you want to understand exactly how the algorithm evaluates that first sequence and decides whether to push or bury your next video before it even starts.